developing future responsible leaders, we would also do, moving to the next slide, look at a number of particular things that happen on the ground at our school. We offer what we call an international business experience or study tour, if you like, to 8 different countries each year for our MBA students. Of those 8 different countries, the vast majority of them are emerging markets. And arguably in emerging markets, for example, in African countries, present a terrific opportunity for doing some work which is of a more sustainable nature. So, for example, we have a project which we initiated through one of these IBEs in Burkina Faso, working with a local NGO, so that the next group of MBAs that go over the following year will be able to continue the work on that particular initiative. Our school has a center for the Doughty Center. It's an endowed center for corporate responsibility. And it plays a championing role in the curriculum review process, but goes much further than that in also playing a champion role in helping to develop a policy and practice around the actual operations and practices of the school. For example, we have a very, very highly committed green team, which is a combination of people at all levels of our school who play a tremendous role in workshops, in programs. We have a green week twice a year in which our students participate, our faculty participate, a range of lectures and topics and presentations. We invite guest speakers. It's a very exciting process. One of the larger challenges is, also referring back to Jeanette's point about interdisciplinary teaching and research, whilst the focus has been on particular courses, more and more we have to move, and it's a tough challenge towards, potentially team teaching across different courses, which focus on common issues. The process of change within Cranfield School of Management has also been spurred, particularly in the curriculum area, around a recent collaboration funded by the Pearce Foundation between our school, London Business School, and Said Business School at Oxford, to develop 30 case studies over the next 3 years, which focus particularly on the areas which have been identified by Prime as being important. Having more of those kinds of case studies also kind of defrays the potential excuse that one might find with some academics saying, well, where's the material? We don't have case studies in this area. Well, I think there is a growing body of case study material, which is important. The last point on this slide I think I've made as well, and that is within a university to explore with other faculties or schools which have a similar interest to how one can cooperate and work together with them. Lastly, around implementation, this can be quite a political process internally, and I think we've learned quite quickly that it's a very fine line between those champions being passionate and being perceived to be on a particular ideological or evangelical crusade and trying to impose a particular party line on what is taught. Rather, I think our process is trying to create safe spaces for healthy debate amongst our faculty and exchange of views. And I'm pleased to say that the nature of those debates, again, has not been so much about, well, why are we or should we be doing this, but more about how do we do this? And I've got a course which is already crowded, and how can I, a faculty will say, well, how can I bring these issues in? Then the debate moves to, okay, well, how can we help you and do that? And then moving to the final slides, or the final 2 slides, penultimate one, just before the 5 E's. Historically, Cranfield's alumni formed a trust, which is a body which now has something, 60% of its people involved in 60+% of people involved in the trust are alumni of the school who devote their time and give time pro bono towards helping particularly emerging businesses and businesses, especially in the the third sector establish themselves, not only businesses but charitable organizations, by giving of their time free to help them with, developing business plans and strategies and policies. Very, very importantly, perhaps one could summarize in the very last slide the approach that we adopt, the so-called 5 E's, embedding Prime in the school and faculty work. Obviously, the first emphasis is on teaching and curriculum, but an interesting conversation we're having internally is also, to what extent are we doing research in this area? And existing research, to what extent can it be adapted, depending on the interest of the particular faculty member? Practices are also crucial. So, for example, the extent to which we do a lot of customized executive education, the extent to which in our policies, which we have in the form of MOUs, or memorandum of agreements with organizations, we embed the Prime principles when we work with an external client into the agreements that we've had, is a decision that we've taken. It requires enterprise and initiative. There are often opportunities which are unanticipated, where organizations might approach us and say, look, having a look at the programs that we're running with you, we need to do more of the Prime type of work in the material that's being taught. We also need to empower people. There are people that feel, it's difficult, we can't really make a difference, or people who may be apathetic to the process. And I think so the culture, the climate within our school, it's very important to create a climate organizationally which feels that this is not an imposition, but one which is a direction of travel that we wish to move. And then the last 2 points, each school does operate within its university, within its own context. However, we can learn from other organizations. I think today, for example, represents an interesting opportunity to share one's learning and for us to network with other organizations. And there are a number of external bodies that we can learn from. As Manuel said, that creating a learning community is quite fundamental. IABIS, which we're a member of, Prime, the Aspen Institute, AMBER, EFMD, the AACSB. I mean, these are all organizations that are committed to these principles that we can learn from. Thanks very much.